In the darkest depths of an Arabian desert, something impossible was happening. A bird was dying. Not quietly, not peacefully, but in an explosion of fire so brilliant it turned the night sky into noon. Travelers 50 miles away fell to their knees, shielding their eyes, certain the sun had cracked open. And then, just as quickly as the fire came, it was gone. The silence that followed was total, absolute, sacred. But in the smoldering circle of ash, something moved, something small, something impossibly, defiantly alive. The phoenix had died again, and now, as it had done 1,000 times before, it was beginning again. Before there were pyramids, before there were empires, before humans had found the words to describe eternity, the Egyptians had already seen it. In the sacred city of Heliopolis, the city of the sun, the priests of Ra kept records of a creature they called the Bennu. This was no ordinary bird. This was a god-made feather and flame, a manifestation of Ra himself, the solar deity whose daily journey across the sky was the heartbeat of the universe. The Bennu was said to have perched upon the Benben stone, the sacred mound that rose from the primordial waters of chaos at the very beginning of creation. When the Bennu landed upon that stone and cried out, its voice shattered the eternal silence, and from that cry, time itself began. The Egyptians were not alone in this reverence. The Greeks absorbed the legend through their contact with Egypt and made it their own, connecting the phoenix to Helios, god of the sun. Herodotus himself, the father of history, claimed the Egyptians showed him illustrations of the creature and insisted it was real. Persian texts described it as the Simurgh, a bird older than the world, perched in the tree of knowledge at the center of existence. Chinese mythology offered the Fenghuang, a bird of cosmic balance that only appeared when perfect virtue walked the earth. Every civilization, separated by oceans and centuries, had looked to the sky and seen the same bird burning. And every civilization agreed on one truth: when this bird dies, it does not stay dead. No artist who ever tried to paint the phoenix got it right. Not because they lacked skill, but because the phoenix refused to hold still in the human imagination. It was always becoming, always transforming. But the ancient texts give us details sharp enough to cut. It was enormous. The classical writers compared its wingspan to that of an eagle, though some accounts stretched it wide enough to cast a shadow over an entire courtyard. Its feathers were not simply red and gold. They were the living colors of fire itself, shifting between crimson and amber, and a white so intense it was nearly violet at the edges. To stand near the phoenix was to feel warmth emanating from its body even in shadow, a deep, bone-level warmth, like standing beside a forge. Its eyes were the color of molten copper, liquid and burning, and those who met that gaze reported feeling as though they had been seen, not just in that moment, but across every moment of their lives simultaneously. The creature smelled of cinnamon and myrrh, of incense offered in temples, of something clean and sacred just beneath the smoke. Its voice was unlike any birdsong. Where other birds produced sound, the phoenix produced music so pure that the ancient writers claimed other birds fell silent upon hearing it, not from fear, but from reverence. Even the winds were said to pause when the phoenix sang, as if the world itself leaned in to listen. Its powers were those of time itself. It could not be killed by any weapon. It could not be poisoned. It could not be trapped. Its tears were said to heal any wound. Even the ash of its burning held restorative power. It had no predators. It had no enemies. It had only the one enemy, that eventually finds everything itself. The most extraordinary account of the phoenix comes not from a battle or a war, but from a journey. Ovid, in his Metamorphoses, tells us that every 500 years, when the phoenix felt the weight of its own age settling into its bones like stones, it knew what had to come next. It would leave its home somewhere beyond the eastern horizon, in a paradise no human cartographer had ever mapped, and it would fly west. It flew toward Heliopolis, toward the city of the sun, toward the place where its story first began. Along the way, it gathered what it needed. Not food, not water. The phoenix had not eaten in the ordinary sense for centuries, sustained by air and sunlight alone. What it gathered were herbs, sacred herbs, Arabian spices, cinnamon, nard, and myrrh, the fragrant materials of burial and worship. With these, it built something between a nest and an altar on the highest palm tree it could find near the temple of the sun. It wove the spices into the branches. It smoothed the structure with the oil from its own feathers. And then it climbed inside, and it waited. Temple priests in Heliopolis told the story in hushed voices. They said that on the day the phoenix arrived, the air above the temple changed. The light grew thick. The shadows went wrong. Animals throughout the city became still. And then the priests heard it, that song, that impossible, devastating song, rising from somewhere above the rooftops. The old phoenix was singing itself to death. The song built slowly. It rose in spirals, the way heat rises, the way smoke rises, reaching upward toward something that had no name. The priests ran to the temple roof. They saw the nest. They saw the bird at the center of it, wings spread wide, head thrown back, every feather trembling. And then the fire came from inside. Not from the sun, not from the sky, from within the phoenix itself, from some furnace at the absolute center of its being that had been burning for 5 centuries. The feathers did not blacken as they burned. They blazed. Gold. White. A color for which no language has a word. The priests shielded their faces. The fire roared upward in a column visible for miles. The spices caught, and the smoke that rose was sweet, almost unbearably sweet, like every sacred offering ever burned in every temple since the beginning of worship. And then silence. And then ash. And then, from the ash, movement. Something small. Something wet with becoming. A creature that was not yet a bird uncurling from the gray and white ruin of what the bird had been. The priests fell to their knees. The new phoenix raised its head. Its eyes opened. Copper and molten and ancient, despite the newness of the body that held them. The creature spent 3 days near the ash. Ancient accounts insist it gathered what remained of its former self and shaped it into an egg of myrrh, sealing the ashes inside. This was no mere instinct. This was ritual. This was memory. The phoenix understood what it was doing in a way that seemed to exceed the intelligence of any living thing. It carried that egg to the altar of Ra within the temple and left it there. An offering, a proof, a message written in the most ancient language there was. The language of death, defeated. The priests recorded everything. They added it to scrolls that already held centuries of phoenix accounts. Each cycle confirmed what the theology of Heliopolis proclaimed. That Ra, the sun, died every evening and was reborn every morning. That death was not an ending, but a turning. The phoenix was not merely a creature. It was living proof of the divine order. The phoenix outlived the civilization that first named it. It outlived the pyramids as active religious sites. It outlived the Roman Empire, that translated its legends and carried them westward. It outlived the medieval scholars who read those Roman texts and used the phoenix as a symbol of Christ's resurrection, and still it burns. In Dumbledore's office, a phoenix named Fawkes weeps healing tears over a dying boy. In the Hunger Games, it becomes the symbol of a revolution that refuses to stay crushed. In Marvel's X-Men, the Phoenix Force is the most terrifying and magnificent power in the universe. Fire that can destroy stars and create them. In modern heraldry, in corporate logos, in tattoo parlors on every continent, the Phoenix burns on. We keep telling this story because we need it. Every human life contains a moment, sometimes many moments, of total ruin, of watching something precious reduced to ash. The Phoenix tells us that ash is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of the next chapter. No other myth has traveled so far, across so many different cultures, and arrived intact. Because no other myth is so fundamentally, so desperately human. The next time you watch a fire and feel that strange pull toward the flame, that inexplicable sense that something sacred is happening in the burning, consider that perhaps the oldest part of your memory is recognizing something it has always known. And somewhere, in a desert older than language, in air that smells of cinnamon and myrrh, a nest is being built right now. If this story gave you chills, subscribe. We bring ancient myths to life every day.